It's episode 10. We made it, y'all. I think this has probably officially lasted longer than quite a few marriages in America. 10 weeks. It's been a journey. It's been lovely to have y'all along with me. So we're gonna do some special things this week. First of all, I want to say that I've been in an amazing mood all week, regardless of what my employees say, because I was right about Taylor Swift. I knew there was more to her than her little good girl image that she puts out, and you guys know I love The Rock, right? But the only person I love more than The Rock is Nicolas Cage, and the only person I love more than Nicolas Cage is Kanye West. So wrong him, and you've wronged me. So I just want to say I'm Team Kim and Team Kanye. You guys might disagree, you can say in the comments if you do, but I'm in a good mood because I feel like I'm vindicated. So we're gonna do things a little different this week. Instead of answering a question, I'm gonna talk about something that people were really interested last night. We had For You, which is an event we do where we have a bunch of influencers come in and we kind of talk about the stuff that we talk about in this room, but we talk about it out there. And I continue to drink, but everyone's drinking with me. So it's just a little bit different, but kind of the same thing. Tim's gonna play a clip from it right now. In negotiations, when you ask for money, when it comes down to that and you eventually are like saying a price, this is more in person, but it's an email as well. Don't try and don't ask for the price and then apologize. Don't be like, oh, it's $1,000, but I can also like throw in all this other stuff and I can do all these other things and you can have the photos and then you can have rights and you can do, don't do that. Say the price confidently and then like say absolutely nothing else. Wasn't that awesome? Anyway, we stream them live on Facebook, so next time we have it, if you're not in New York City, make sure you check it out. They're totally awesome. So, last night we were talking about negotiating and closing deals, something that I know y'all are all probably quite interested in. And I talked about the difference of buying, when people are buying things from you or when you're selling something. So, a lot of times a brand will reach out and they'll say, hey, I have this opportunity for you. I'd like to know if you'd be interested. You know, we want you to do 2 Instagrams and a blog post. What's your rate? Okay? Now, if they've come to you and they've asked this, they are trying to buy something from you, right? And you should not give up your price at that point. You should always go back to them and say, is there a budget for this project? Because in that moment, you have the power. And generally, you know, when it's a brand influencer relationship and negotiation, especially if you're starting out, they kind of have more of the power. They're paying, they're the ones with the money, they're the ones who kind of have been in business for 20 years maybe. There's a lot of things that like weigh in their favor. But when they ask you to be a part of the project and they ask for your rates, at that point you have the power. So don't tell them what your rates are up front. Ask them if they have a budget. Make them make the first move and then negotiate off that. Now that's different if you're selling something. If you go to the brand and you say, hey, there's this project I want to do. Here's all the details. I want to do a blog post and 3 Instagrams and this and that. Then you want to give them the price up front because you're selling something at that point. So make sure when you go into a negotiation, you know the difference between if someone's buying something from you, make them tell you a price. If you're selling something, you tell them the price. Now, as we said, it's episode 10, and I'm feeling a little sentimental. And I'm realizing that I probably haven't included my co-founder and friend and partner, Rich Tong, enough. So we're gonna get Rich in here to talk to you a little bit. Let's see if we can grab him and get him off the computer. So, is it still recording? It's still recording? While we wait for Rich to come in, if you don't know, Rich is the one who actually built Fohr Card and continues to build the products that you use every day. He designed it. It's the reason it's so beautiful. And any product questions you have, complaints, suggestions, compliments, point them towards Rich. Rich at Fohr Card, just like inundate him. He loves email, so make sure you just like send it. Just like go crazy every day. Just send something. Rich. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, this is Rich. If you guys don't know him, he's the man behind the scenes. He builds everything, I just talk about it. So, what job would you want, right? So Rich, I think, you know, we've been in here for 10 weeks now and I've been running my mouth about God knows what. But I think that there's a lot of people that maybe joined Fohr Card 6 months ago and don't know kind of why you kind of had this idea 4 years ago and kind of what the market was like and why we built it in the first place.
Now, 4 years ago, life was a lot different. Things were a lot different in the market. Influencers weren't really a thing. And
We called them bloggers.
yeah, they were bloggers. You had handles. It wasn't just your name.
Right.
You had a handle.
Right.
You were fashion something
Yes.
or style something.
Nobody had names.
Nobody had names. You weren't just your first and last.
You were your blog name.
You were more than that. The fascinating thing though is, it wasn't really a thing. They weren't really in demand by any means, and brands weren't totally looking to work with influencers just yet. And it was an emerging market in that brands were at least starting to ask about it. So at least they were starting to get curious, starting to ask more and more, who should we work with? Who would be the best people to partner with on these given platforms? And that's really when James and I kind of realized, here's an opportunity to create something. Here's an opportunity to connect both sides of the market, to create a platform that these two sides can actually come together and discover one another. And that's why we created Fohr Card 4 years ago. And I can't believe it's been 4 years.
Can you believe it?
It's been a minute.
We'll put a picture of us up when we first started it, like right here. We both looked a little bit more embarrassing than we do today. And the interesting thing I think as well is when we started it was that, I think your frustration was that it was really just the same 50, 100 bloggers that were getting all the work. And you had worked at Tumblr and you had put together the Tumblr Fashion Week and all these really amazing things. And you had difficulty when you were at Tumblr finding interesting new people to work with, but you knew you would find them eventually, and you knew they were out there. And I think the idea, at least as we talked about it over drinks 4 or 5 years ago, was that there was a whole group of talent that wasn't those top bloggers that we could maybe use technology to find, right?
I mean, there was always a discovery problem at on any given platform. Discovery is one of the biggest problems in the world. It's really, really difficult to solve because there's really only two ways to solve it. One, you can do it with an editorial team, great. You're just gonna have to scale your editorial team and hope that they can filter and parse through millions of blogs or millions of accounts. Or you can figure out how to code something, and you have to build an algorithm that's smart enough to figure out what the best people are, who the best people are, where they're from, all of these things, and based on interests, who to recommend. Totally possible, but still a very difficult problem. And discovery in itself has always just been one of the most complex things to work on, and you can never get tired really too much of finding new people to work with. It's always something that everyone's always going to be interested in, brands or influencers, both.
Yeah, and today is still the same thing. I mean, I think we take so much joy in the fact that last night at 4U, there were a lot of up and coming influencers who are out there and they're just getting started and they've got 5,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 followers, and there's always a new crop of people, and you build beautiful, lovely technology to help them find that, which is awesome, and thank you for that. Now, to celebrate our 10th show, is there anything you can give the people? A little something that is, the people want something. Is there something we can give them that's a little different, that's secret, that you would only get if you watched this video? I know you have something.
Well, Timothy has told me to point any which way, so I can point here, I can point here, I can point here, and Timothy will place the link. But if you log into your Fohr Card and you add /Instagram to your username in the URL, Tim will provide the link very kindly. You will get a glimpse at a little hack that we worked on. So we tried to figure out what are the best times for each individual person to post on Instagram. We thought that would be interesting, a very helpful tool if you were trying to figure out for yourself when to share content, when you would get the most likes and comments, when you would get the most engagement across the board, trying to figure out how you can actually game the system just a little bit to your benefit. Super interesting stuff. If you are curious, go check it out.
So it's your Fohr Card /Instagram.
Fohrcard.com/rich/Instagram.
All right, links are somewhere here. Thanks for stopping by. Don't say we never gave you anything. Now, Rich, we finish every show by drinking everything that's in our glass in one fell swoop. So, cheers.
You don't have anything in your glass, though.
Sucks to be you.